What's good, YouTube? This is Cam chilling back again with another video. And I got something different here for you guys here today, which is something that I had planned for a while now. But let me give you an explanation. So, we're like halfway through the season, right? The NFL season, right? Obviously, it started around September, probably around midway to September, I want to say, right? I had the plan to make videos, to make predictions for each team for every single week, each game that each of these teams have played. I had the plan to start from week one all the way towards the end of the season, making my predictions for each game for each week, but it did not go as planned as I would like to. Now, obviously, part of the reason is because, in case you didn't know, look in the background right now, I'm in college. For those of you who are new watching my videos right now, I am in college. Um, I'm going to be graduating there eventually within the next month, so that's pretty exciting. That's my bed. They're right behind me, so I'm in college. That's where I'm recording right now. I'm in college, so I've been planning to make these type of videos for a while now. Now, obviously, it's because I have a lot of work to do here at college because hey, it's college. Very unfortunate here, but that's what college is all about. Got to work your butt off in order to get these grades up. You know what I'm saying? But also, I have a hard time saving these videos when I try to edit these videos out. And I'm talking about since the beginning of the season, starting from week 1 to week 10. I've been trying to get these videos saved up so I can upload these videos, but unfortunately, they didn't save. I was not able to literally save these long videos that I've been trying to record for these past number of weeks, which was so frustrating. Definitely did not the way how I wanted it to go. So I had no choice but to delete them all, and I had to wait until this week until I finally was able to figure some things out. I was actually able to find a way to make the videos to be auto-saved. So I was able to get that solved. It should have happened there way before the season started, but I guess it is what it is. So we are now in week 11. So this is going to be my very first video where I'm going to be giving my predictions for each game in a given week. So how this is going to go, I'm going to be giving you my picks for each NFL game for each week, starting from week 11. It's not week 1, even though what I would like for it to go, but yeah, we're in week 11. So from each week from now into the end of the season, and I'm not just talking about the end of regular season, I'm also going to be doing some predictions for the playoffs as well. But I'm going to be giving you my picks for each game for each week. I'm going to give you my thoughts as to why I have the team winning for each game. And then that's how it's going to go for each week moving forward. As wild as it is, as we're already midway towards the season with all the issues I had going on with trying to save these videos that I had planned there before from weeks before and starting until now, this is how it's going to go, unfortunately. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and get these predictions started. So like I said, we're in week 11 into the regular season. Now, there's not just NFL games that comes on each Sundays. There's also some Monday night games there as well, but also Thursday night games. And so far throughout the season, there has not been this many good games there on Thursday night football. Now, we did have a good Thursday night football game last week against the Bengals and the Ravens. So that's one of those good games. But since then, there hasn't been that many good games there for a while now. But we definitely got a big one, Coach. We definitely got a big time rivalry game this Thursday night football. I'm talking about the NFC East battle. Oh boy. You got the Washington Redskins taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. And you guys are probably right out of the bat asking, what is this boy over here talking about the Commanders, calling them the Redskins? Yes, that's right, I said it. I know it says Washington Commanders, but it has been a weird name in my opinion. It's just weird. Like, what exactly are the Commanders commanding here? Like, What are they commanding? The field? Are they commanding the players? Are they commanding the staff? Like, that's what's confusing here to me. Like, what are they commanding? That just didn't make sense to me. I feel like the Redskins is a better name in my opinion. So in case you all are asking, the Redskins is officially going to be what I'm going to be calling for a Washington team. So anyway, the Washington Redskins, they have been rolling, man, throughout the season. Now, unfortunately, that was not the case for this past game, as they had a 1-point loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. An amazing game. They could have won that game. They had a 10-point lead there over the Pittsburgh Steelers in Washington, D.C., but just could not hold on to it, as the Steelers ended up winning that game at the end. But they still competed though against a good football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just could not get the win. They're going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who have also been on a roll, absolutely whooping the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. All being so that the Cowboys have been banged up without Dak Prescott. And without Dak Prescott, the offense was completely different and pretty bad defense for the Cowboys. But the Eagles did what they were supposed to do, blowing out the team that is in front of them. Love that for the Philadelphia Eagles. And no doubt, this is a big-time rivalry game right here. This is going to be taking the first place spot for the NFC East. Whoever wins is going to take over that lead for now, but they will get the chance to meet again in a later time. And I went back and forth on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins were able to come into Philadelphia and get the job done over there in Washington. Now, I'm going to play it safe here just because it's going to be playing Philadelphia. I'm going to go with the Eagles here just because that they're at home. I think they're going to run all over Washington's defense with Saquon Barkley, who, in my opinion, should be one of the MVP candidates so far in this season. Now, I think Derrick Henry is a better running back than Saquon Barkley, but still, Saquon Barkley has been great for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know Giants fans right now are over there just looking away at Saquon Barkley like, man, I can't believe we got rid of this guy here, man. But yeah, that has been the case. Now, obviously, it's going to be a close game. It could be a low-scoring game. I can also see this game being a shootout as well. I mean, this could go either way, but give me the home team here. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles. But we'll see what happens when they meet again later into this season. And then, you got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. Another rivalry in our hands here. The Packers got themselves to enjoy this great bye week and definitely needed that because injuries were piling up before the bye week when they were getting prepared to face the Detroit Lions this past week. Jordan Love, he was banged up with that groin injury, but it seems like that groin injury was much better, and he has fully participated not only yesterday's practice but also today's practice. Fully participated in both of those days, so hopefully he's all the way 100%. But also Jair Alexander, Josh Myers, and Evan Williams were also dealing with injuries way before the bye week, as they were not able to play against the Detroit Lions. But all of them are practicing so far this week, which is a very great sign. No doubt we would need all those guys here against the Chicago Bears because those were definitely missed against the Detroit Lions. And they're going to be taking on Chicago Bears, who it has been a rough go lately for the Chicago Bears. It has been very bad since that loss to the Washington Commanders a number of weeks ago on that Hail Mary. They got blown out by the Arizona Cardinals the game after that. And then this past week, they were at home and they lost to the Patriots? The Patriots? Boy, I thought the Patriots were the worst team in the NFL, but perhaps I might have to change my mind about that. But yeah, the Bears just hit a big time low right there as they lose to the New England Patriots. And that offense, boy, you're telling me that the Bears have gone through 28 drives without scoring a touchdown? Is that what you're telling me? Wow, no wonder they're so bad. Jesus. So glad I'm not a Bears fan. But anyway, Bad sign for the Chicago Bears. Now, they fired their offensive coordinator earlier in the week. They're going to have their new offensive coordinator coming in, and they're hoping that this new offensive coordinator is going to get some out of Caleb Williams, but it has not been looking so good. Now, this is any given Sunday because, again, this is a rivalry game, an NFC North rivalry type of game. Perhaps for some reason, Caleb Williams looks like some god and throws that ball all over us for whatever reason. I don't know why in the world it would happen here against us, against the Packers. But so far, it has been looking bad for the Chicago Bears. Momentum has definitely fallen off here for this team. While as the Packers are very well rested and they're ready to whoop some you-know-what. Give me the Green Bay Packers to absolutely kick the Chicago Bears' butt here in Chicago. Now, again, it could be any game Sunday. Perhaps the Bears might surprise the Packers a little bit, but I don't really see that in my opinion, especially with the way how the Bears have been playing so far in this season. So give me the Green Bay Packers all day. We will see you on Sunday. Then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Detroit Lions. Do I even need to say anything about this game? Like, for real. The Jaguars. They're bad. The Jaguars are very, very bad. Perhaps they could have beaten the Minnesota Vikings last week, but yeah, they just did not come out quite sure. Now, their defense actually did surprise me. They only gave up 12 points against the Minnesota Vikings, as they caught 3 interceptions from Sam Darnold, but still, that doesn't really mean much of anything if they can't win a game here. Especially they haven't been winning now for a number of weeks, so yeah, this Jaguars team is bad. Meanwhile, the Lions, they have been rolling, and the last time we see them, boy, you want to talk about a gutsy win there this past week against the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football. I mean, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in that game against the Houston Texans. It was not very, very good for Jared Goff. And yet, they still won the game. Ryan Bates, the kicker, was the savior for the Detroit Lions team. And he made 2 very, very, very crucial field goals. One of them is to tie the game, and the other one to win the football game. My goodness. That kind of tells me that the Lions are able to find ways to win this football game despite the struggles of their quarterback. And the offensive line did not look great there either. The best offensive line in the NFL. Jared Goff was getting pressure, especially in the first half of that game. Penny Sewell, the right tackle, was getting beaten by, I think it was Danielle Hunter, I want to say, but he was getting beaten. The offensive line did not look as perfect, but they were able to finally get things going in the second half of that game as they came back from down 23-7 to the Houston Texans. They didn't allow the Texans to score a single point on them in the second half. So that was very, very impressive right there. Now, all being is without Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. I understand that, but still, that was very, very impressive. Yeah, this is not going to be pretty. I have the Lions easily beating the Jacksonville Jaguars in Detroit. I mean, there's no conversation here right there. There's no debate here at all. Jaguars are bad. Lions are elite. Great teams. Great teams beat bad teams. And you're going to see it here on Sunday. Give me the Lions. Then you got the Vegas Raiders taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Raiders, they actually had their best performance of the week this past week because they had a bye week. Let's face it. This team is just not very good. The running game has not been very good. The quarterback has not been very good. Doesn't matter who's playing back there. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. It doesn't matter who's back there. They're just not very, very, very good at all. Just not very good. That has been the case throughout this whole season. And I don't know why that's going to change now. They're going to be taking on the Miami Dolphins, who got themselves a nice win over the Los Angeles Rams in LA. Now, the one concern I have is that I hope Tua does not have to make an effort to make the tackle game while using his head. Man, I just hope Tua does not use his head a number of times again. That just makes me nervous every time I see his head gets popped. every single time. But yes, the Miami Dolphins are able to get a good win over the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football. Perhaps they might go on a run to make it into the playoffs. Now, at this point, to me, it looks very, very slim, in my opinion, because at least they're going to be facing against the Vegas Raiders, but December is coming within the next couple of weeks, and we probably might know how they do in December. If there's any Dolphins fans watching here right now, you guys probably know how the Dolphins are going to do in December. But at least we're still in November as of right now. And they are at home facing against the Vegas Raiders. I expect the Dolphins to get the job done against the struggling Vegas Raiders as the Dolphins continue to roll on offense. So give me the Miami Dolphins. And then we got a pretty interesting game here as we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the New England Patriots. Rams, what happened? What happened? And I already mentioned this not too long ago as they lost to the Miami Dolphins. And you're telling me that the Rams did not score a single touchdown against the Miami Dolphins? Now, kudos to the Dolphins defense, who has been bad throughout this season. They actually look really, really good against the LA Rams. But there's no excuse for the LA Rams. They are fully healthy, especially offensively, with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and the offensive line. Now, the offensive line did not look good against the Miami Dolphins pass rush there, which was a little bit surprising to me. Matthew Stafford was struggling to find time in the pocket. It was just a rough night there for the LA Rams. And they're hoping to bounce back against the New England Patriots. Shout out to them for beating the Chicago Bears in Chicago. Ramondre Stevenson, boy, this guy's so very, very good. Looking like one of the best running backs in the NFL, man. Love to see that right there. And Drake May, he may have some up and downs here throughout this season, but hey, at least he's making progress. And hey, I still might take Drake May over Caleb Williams, especially the way how Williams has been playing. Isn't that crazy for me to say? Maybe. But yeah, Patriots got the job done in Chicago. And this game is being played in New England. This could go either way, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if the New England Patriots gets the job done against the LA Rams. But I still think the Patriots are in rebuilding mode at this point. So I'm going to go with the better team here. I'm going to go with the LA Rams here. I expect them to bounce back and actually score touchdowns here this time. Because the Patriots, they haven't looked that great throughout the whole season. Not bad, but they haven't been playing great. I expect the Rams to take advantage here against that Patriots defense. Give me the LA Rams to bounce back. Then you got the Cleveland Browns taking on the New Orleans Saints. The Browns are another one of those teams who get to enjoy their bye week this past week. Definitely well needed right after they had to get that taste out of their mouths after losing to the LA Chargers before their bye weeks. But they're hoping to get back rolling against the New Orleans Saints, who got themselves a huge upset victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Pretty surprisingly so, because they have not been very, very good throughout the season. This is a team that started 2-0 when they blew out the Panthers and they beat up on the Cowboys, and they've been losing until they beat the Atlanta Falcons. So, hey, at least that's something there. At least that kind of gives them a bit of momentum, but I still don't trust the Saints here moving forward there, regardless of the win. And even though this game is being played in New Orleans, to me, they're just not a better team than Cleveland right now. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns here. Jameis Winston, by the way, playing against his former team. And you better hope that Jameis Winston does not throw a number of interceptions against the New Orleans Saints. But this is his former team playing in New Orleans. Give me Jameis Winston over whoever's back there starting at QB. Derek Carr, I believe. Even though he was solid, but he hasn't been the quarterback that the Saints would have hoped for. So, give me the more talented team in the Cleveland Browns. Give me the Browns to win. We got a big one, boy. You thought the Eagles game was big? This one is big as well. You got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. A big-time AFC North rivalry here. Let's start with the Ravens, who got a huge win against the Cincinnati Bengals, who is another team from their own division, the Cincinnati Bengals I'm talking about. And boy, this offense has been flying. And forget about the defense, for how they've been looking. You can just close your eyes, look away from their defense. But this offense has been flying, man. Lamar Jackson is making his case again for his second straight season in a row. Could he be having another MVP on his belt? It sure seems that way, man. Oh, I love me some Lamar Jackson and this Ravens team overall, even though the defense has not been looking good throughout the season. They're going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are able to come away with a 1-point victory over the Washington Commanders in Washington. Russell Wilson still remains undefeated since he took over after Justin Fields was benched a number of weeks ago. Russell Wilson, even though the stats does not look great, he did everything he needed to do, especially in the fourth quarter, to win the Steelers the game. And this offense has been clicking since Russell Wilson started, man. I mean, what a dangerous team it is in Pittsburgh. And by the way, they made a trade last week getting Preston Smith, formerly of the Green Bay Packers, just to add some depth on the defensive end depth chart. Nice depth here. Want to say this. Wishing Preston Smith all the luck. I appreciate everything that you have done for the Green Bay Packers. I really, really hope you do some amazing things over there in Pittsburgh. Shout out to you, Preston Smith. But yeah, this is a big time game right here. And lately, the Steelers haven't gotten their way against the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he as great as a player as he has been as a quarterback and a runner of the football, not so much against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's like 1-3 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that's definitely not very good for him. Now, I won't be surprised if the Ravens go into Pittsburgh and get the job done, because as bad as the Ravens have been losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they didn't have the King Derrick Henry. Now, the Steelers have a former Raven themselves, Patrick Queen. We'll see what he does playing against his former team right here. But yeah, like I said, I won't be surprised if the Ravens come into Baltimore and finally get the win here for Lamar Jackson in this rivalry game here. But I'm actually going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers here, because I trust their defense more than I do with the Ravens defense at this point. They have been on fire throughout the whole season, unlike the Ravens, unfortunately. So because of that, I got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers here with a better defense. And even though Lamar Jackson has been a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, I just kind of trust the Steelers more than I do with the Ravens. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers in a very, very close one. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Vikings, they did win. They did beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. But man, it just looked so ugly. Very, very ugly. They only put up 12 points against a bad Jaguars defense. Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions against that Jacksonville defense. What in the world happened there? Now, they did win the game, but man, what an ugly game that was. They're taking on the Tennessee Titans, who, yeah, they're just not very, very, very good. Their defense is pretty solid, especially in their secondary, but that's not really going to say much. They're just not that good of the team, unfortunately. And I just don't see how that's going to change now. Playing against a superior team, the Minnesota Vikings, well, I guess they're superior, but they're definitely better than the Tennessee Titans. So give me the Minnesota Vikings here. They should be able to put a whooping on the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. So give me the Minnesota Vikings. And hopefully Sam Darnold will play better than he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then you got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the New Jersey Jets. The Colts, breaking news. Anthony Richardson is going to start again for the Indianapolis Colts after they made that switch when Anthony Richardson was tired playing against the Houston Texans a number of weeks ago. They go to Joe Flacco. To me, I would have stuck with Joe Flacco the whole entire way. Even though if I remember correctly, I believe Richardson was injured when Joe Flacco first took over. Yes, he was. It was against the Pittsburgh Steelers back then. So quite a weird quarterback change right there at this point of the season. Now Joe Flacco did not look good the past couple of weeks. Perhaps his age might have caught up to him at this point, unfortunately, for Mr. Sleepy Joe Flacco. But now it's Anthony Richardson time, which I guess you do that, but I don't know. It's just a weird situation. But the Jets. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I almost picked y'all to beat the Arizona Cardinals. I almost did. But I'm very, very glad that I didn't because, man, you look like trash. Trash. Against the Arizona Cardinals, man. Aaron Rodgers did not score a touchdown against a pretty bad Arizona Cardinals defense, although they might play a little bit better recently. But this whole Jets team has been falling apart. They have now lost 6 of the last 7 games. They have not been winning a number of games since Robert Saleh fired. And because of the Robert Saleh firing, the Jets defense has looked worse. And I don't know how this is going to get any better. Now, maybe this week it could. I have the New York Jets getting the job done against the Indianapolis Colts. But man, this season is just over, in my opinion. It's just over. There's no chance, in my opinion. There's just no chance that the Jets are going to make a run into the playoffs now, especially the way that things have gone here this season in New York. But at least for this week, they should be able to get the job done against the Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson starting. Give me the Jets. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Denver Broncos. The Falcons, what happened to them? As they got an upset loss to the New Orleans Saints. Wow. Yeah, that pass rush over there in Atlanta is not very good. And I was very intrigued when they got Matthew Judon for the Patriots. I thought this guy was going to come in and do some good things. He's nowhere close to looking being very good. We're talking about the Falcons defense ranked in the bottom 5 in terms of pass rush. Not something what I expected. Now, I didn't think the pass rush was going to be good. I thought they were going to be at least decent with Matthew Judon, but man, this has been worse. Kirk Cousins is on the injury report. Now, he was limited here yesterday, but he fully participated today, so it looks like he's going to be ready to go when he plays against the Denver Broncos, who unfortunately suffered a huge, heartbreaking loss. They were about to be the first team to break the undefeated streak against their division rival, the Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, the blocked kick happened at the end of that game. Very, very unfortunate for the Denver Broncos. But at least they can get another crack at them later into the season when they meet again. Now, in terms of this game, I went back and forth on this because you got the Falcons with a good offensive line, Kirk Cousins back there with some decent weapons, but the Broncos defense have been looking very, very good. And Bo Nix, he's been playing better as the season moves along. He's been looking better. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's been looking pretty good. I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. I'm gonna go with the Broncos. And I'm not very confident in saying that because, again, I think the Falcons are going to be motivated to try to win this game after they got embarrassed by the New Orleans Saints. I think I like the Broncos on this one. They're at home. They got a great defense. Bo Nix has been looking better. And I think the Broncos are going to have a pretty solid running game against the Falcons defense, who struggled to defend the run. Now, I think the Falcons are going to do a pretty good job in the running game. Although the Broncos are pretty good at run defense, don't get me wrong. But I think the Broncos are going to take advantage against the struggling pass rush of this Falcons defense here. So I think the Broncos are going to win this, but I won't be surprised it could go either way. Then you got an NFC West showdown as you got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks are able to enjoy themselves in a nice bye week this past week. But they're going to have to find a way to finally beat the 49ers. They haven't done that since Russell Wilson left the Seahawks. Will that finally change this week? Yeah, I don't know about that. They're going to be taking on the San Francisco 49ers, and Christian McCaffrey is back. Welcome back, Christian McCaffrey. He ain't had to do much out there. Now, I imagine he's going to get more snaps here against the Seattle Seahawks, but it's very, very good to see him back out there on the football field. And Brock Purdy looked very, very good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the past weekend. It seemed like they might be getting healthy. Now the injury report, they're saying that George Kittle and Nick Bosa missed practice due to injuries, unfortunately. So hopefully those guys can make it to the game and play. They're probably going to need those guys because I'm sure the Seahawks are going to come into San Francisco and motivated to try to beat them, but I'm just not sure there, man. The Seahawks are just too inconsistent. They were undefeated. They started 3-0, but then they have been losing a number of games that they shouldn't lose, like the New York Giants. That's very, very surprising to me. And they probably could have beaten the LA Rams. That's who they faced right before the bye week. But they probably could have beaten them. Yeah, so far they have been so inconsistent so far in this season. So even if George Kittle and Nick Bosa doesn't play, I'm still going to go with the 49ers because I trust the coaching staff and Kyle Shanahan. I trust he's going to mix some things up here for the offense and the defense. In order for the Seahawks to even have a chance against the 49ers, Geno Smith is going to have to play like flawless football out there. And I mean, probably have to score like every single drive in order to give the Seahawks that even have a chance to win this game. But will that happen? I probably doubt it. Give me the San Francisco 49ers in San Fran. Oh boy. You got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills. Another massive game. Definitely this one, because Chiefs and Bills, every single time both these teams going at it, it always comes down to the wire at the very end. Always a good game, unless if you're a Bills fan, if you're wondering when they're going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. But yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, man, boy oh boy, as I talked about earlier, they keep getting away with these wins, man, in ugly fashion. Patrick Mahomes still has not played his best football yet, and they are still winning. They are still undefeated. Kudos to their special teams getting that block on Will Lutz, the kicker for the Denver Broncos, to keep their undefeated streaks alive. Man, who is going to stop this Kansas City Chiefs? Maybe it might be the Bills, but we shall see about that. As they did not look great to start the game against the Indianapolis Colts, but they were able to pick some things up in the second half against the Indianapolis Colts, so that's very good to see. No doubt, this is a huge, huge, huge game right here. Now, the Bills have been getting the upper hand against the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of regular season, but in the playoffs, where it matters more, that's a different story. Now, I almost picked the Bills here to beat them because of their record against the Chiefs in the regular season. But one thing that I learned, never doubt Patrick Mahomes, never doubt Andy Reid, never doubt Travis Kelce, never doubt the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I won't be surprised if the Bills could win this. But until I see the Kansas City lose and maybe have some different opinions about this team, I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs getting the job done on the road. Doesn't matter if they play ugly. Doesn't matter if they play great. They are still finding ways to win games, and they're going to continue to find ways to win games, including the Buffalo Bills. But it will be close, no doubt, just like every single time that they play against each other. But I think the Chiefs are going to have the winning result. Give me the Chiefs. Then on Sunday Night Football, you got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, the Bengals. I feel for them, especially their offense. Joe Burrow is doing every single thing he can to get this team a chance to win. Jamar Chase even went stupid against the Baltimore Ravens. You talking about a guy who had over 200 receiving yards against the Baltimore Ravens, 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow, I think he threw 5 touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football. and they still lost the game. And that's because of their bad defense. I mean, they can't even catch a cold, man. And that is just unfortunate here for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to be taking on the LA Chargers, who got themselves a win over the Tennessee Titans. That running game continues to be there, and boy, I'm just so happy for the Chargers, man, and their fans. They finally got themselves a great coach after everything they had to deal with Brandon Staley the past couple of seasons, and they finally got themselves a big-time head coach in Jim Harbaugh. And look at the job that he is doing for the LA Chargers, man. Playing very, very good football. Now, this is going to be a good game, in my opinion. Now, the record for the Bengals said otherwise, even though they only have 4 wins in the season. But they're still a very competitive Bengals team. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals will make this game competitive against the Chargers. But I still have the Chargers getting the job done at home in LA. I think they're going to run all over that Bengals defense. And say what you want about the Chargers' weapons, this Bengals defense is not very good. I think the Chargers are going to have to take advantage here against that bad Bengals secondary, no matter who's over there catching the football over there. So give me the LA Chargers get the job. Now, I won't be surprised if the Bengals end up winning this game. But I got to go with the LA Chargers just because they have a better defense and a better running game. Give me the Chargers. And finally, on Monday Night Football, you got the Houston Texans taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Texans, man, this was unfortunate. They had it, man. They had the win against the Detroit Lions, but they could not hold on to that lead against that great Detroit Lions team. They caught 5 interceptions against Jared Goff, and they still lost the game. C.J. Stroud also did not have the greatest game. He threw a couple of interceptions in that game. And they scored 23 points against the Detroit Lions, all of them in the first half. They couldn't do anything here in the second half of that game. So that ended up being the result for the Houston Texans. Very unfortunate for them. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, their season is over. Their season is over. I think it's been over since before the season even started. It's just been over. You're welcome, America. It all started in that playoff game against the Packers. Since that playoff loss to the Packers, the Cowboys have been falling apart since. Talking about all of that drama dealing throughout the whole offseason. And the Cowboys, I don't think they have yet to win a game at home. They have not won a home game this season, which is crazy. Are they still having bad memories about that playoff game? They probably might have. Because, boy, it's just looking so ugly over there in Dallas. And now Dak Prescott is done for the season. He's about to have surgery here in his torn hamstring. And it doesn't matter who's back there at quarterback. Whether if it's Cooper Rush or Trey Lance, it doesn't matter. They're not going to get the job done here to help this Cowboys offense, man. It's just looking so bad. In the Battle of Texas, by the way, 2 of these teams playing for the Texas. Who is going to be the better team in Texas? It's the Texans, of course. It's always got to be the Texans. I expect C.J. Stroud to have a bounce-back game against a struggling Cowboys team. And even if C.J. Stroud does not play great in this game, Joe Mixon is going to run all over that Cowboys defense, who has been struggling at stopping the run this whole entire season. So, yeah, if I'm the Cowboys, I would be start taking at this point because I just don't see how it's going to get better anytime soon. Okay, I just don't. I think you're going to start everything over. And yes, I know that they signed CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, but the Dak Prescott was surprising to me. You should never have signed him, in my opinion. I think I would get rid of Dak, in my opinion. Now, CeeDee Lamb, I would probably keep him. Now, that depends on whether or not CeeDee Lamb wants to stay in Dallas. But yeah, regardless, it has been looking so bad over there in Dallas. Give me the Houston Texans to get the job done and being the #1 team in Texas. All right, so that is it for my predictions for Week 11. So as I said before, this is not going to be the last time I'm going to be doing this. This is what I'm going to continue doing for next week and weeks forward here until the end of the season, until the Super Bowl. So this is what I'm going to continue to do, and I hope you guys will join me as we move along into this season. But yes, that is it for my Week 11 predictions in the NFL. What are your thoughts about these games? You can put your comments down below. I would love to know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and also please subscribe. And until next time, this is Cam chillin', and I am signing off. Peace.